And Gabriel, I'll come to you because one of the things that President William Ruto passionately promised Kenyans, his campaign was pegged on, restoring the state of the economy,
correct,
addressing the issue of the cost of living. And he came with a plan and he said, this is what I want to do and this is the strategy. I was looking at the numbers that were given by the Kenya National Bureau of Statistics the other day. And what it is indicating is that there is a rise in the prices of basic commodities. Sugar has gone up by up to 60%, over 60%, beans 27%, maize flour 9.6%, electricity and cooking oil, and I can go on and on about cooking gas. These are the things that the common mwananchi on the ground find important. The price has gone up. How do you justify what Ruto has been able to do 12 months down the line? Has his plan worked?
Well, thank you. By the way, it's not a matter of justification. Actually, it's a matter of, first of all, understanding where the economy was. And I've told people, for you to understand the whole thing, and again, we are really swimming on the boat of fairness here. You must understand what I keep calling the economic degradation process. Mm-hmm. It does not happen within a year. When an economy is really going bad, it actually starts way far. And it can actually give you a sense that everything is working, but your economy is really bleeding. And that's where we were. So when the president came in and he suggested things like removing the waivers, right? Which we know, most of them, if people again want to be honest, they were not reaching the intended target. When he said we are really going to look at the production of things, he knew what he was saying. And that's why I said, from an economic point of view, we were really skating on thin ice. And that is why he put a very good team that looked at the economy holistically, because that's what we needed. We needed to know where were we bleeding, all right? We were deep, heavy into borrowing. And this is how the plan came to be. It's not that people sat down and they thought things on top of their heads, because I've really looked at the plan extensively. And I was just, having a chat when the plan was being rolled out. And I was like, how will the Hustler Fund work? Why the Hustler Fund? And you looked at how the young men and women who are really trying to push small business here and there, if you look at the amount of money that they were paying in interest rates, they were really predatory, all right? Move a little bit further. You had 4 million of them who are actually listed on the CRB.
But what?
You're coming now to nearly 20 million who are actually enjoying the Hustler Fund.
So what was the ultimate goal? Was it to sustain that culture of borrowing? They borrow, they return. They borrow again, they return. Or was it to economically empower them?
Our microeconomy is based on borrowing.
So that was supposed to be
that has always been, and it will continue. And by the way, you may choose to go as far back to what locum tenens they say chamas. It is the very same thing, very same concept. That's how we are in the Kadogo economy. That is what has always been. But you had predators, really. Same way we saw when the economy in the US went down. It was, again, predatory lending practices. Same thing that we saw here. People knew that Kenyans borrow a lot. And yes, they do pay. But the thing was, charge them a hefty interest. Woe unto you if you're not able to come square with the house at the end of that lending period. It was quadrupling. So we're like, yeah, people are borrowing whether we like it or not. How do we ensure that they are able to borrow and pay something that they are able to cover? And that's why I'm saying these were actually great ideas that have continued to work. And that's why, let me remind you something.
12 years down the line, 12 months, I beg your pardon, down the line, how come we're not seeing tangible effects of this plan?
What are you not seeing? See, the thing is, I talk to people who borrow. I talk to people whose small businesses have been impacted positively. Those are the success stories I want to talk about. Now, like I told you, are we there yet? No, we are not. But are we heading in the right direction? Yes, we are. And that's why I told you, if the plan was to be realized, we must believe that today, where we are now, we are in a partial state of development. That is how nations are built, all right? You don't just appear and say, oh, hooray, we've finished, we've attained it. No, It is a progressive advance. So here you have given people a way to borrow, something which they are comfortable with, and they are able to pay. Do you know what you've done to them? You've actually said to them that you can run your business without too much stress of paying those hefty predatory interest rates.
All right.
And when it comes to borrowing, whether we are looking at mortgages, yeah, anything that we borrow, the first thing we look at is that interest rate. How will I be able to pay back? And if things don't go the way I want, what kind of interest rates am I looking at? So when you have somebody who comes and gives you some sort of cushion and tells you, yes, it will not be in the 300, 400%, you still can be able, even if you miss a day or two, you're still able to recover.
All right.
That is how you create small businesses.
That is well said, addressing the interest rate. But how do you tell the Mama Mboga who is seeing the price of sugar double or almost, you know, the unga that she was told is going to be cheaper, still very expensive, cooking gas going up, cooking oil going up, beans going up, electricity bills going up each and every day? How do you tell this Mama Mboga that you're addressing the cost of living 12 months down the line?
Our production really is based on the cost of power. That has been our Achilles heels. We've noted that as a problem from way back when. What is being done today, and I told you, again, go back to what I said, the partial state of development. What are we doing in terms of reducing the cost of power? Right now, it's still high, based on how or where we've been historically. Too much dependency. And I dare say again, too much dependency on hydro. What happens when we have short rainfalls? Immediately, that situation is compounded. Banan. We, just the other day, at the climate summit, the European Union, the reason why they backed, and I think there were some finances that were released, is to continue looking at the R&D of shifting much of our focus from hydro. Because every time we shift there, when we don't have enough rainfall, our electricity will go up. You know why? Because we will result into diesel generators. What happens then? So looking into things like geothermal, into solar, that is the only way. And these things they have to balance out. If our cost of production is going to be high, guess what? Then the commodities that we are talking about will definitely go high. Okay. And guess what? The other thing that we must bring to the fore is we became a net importer. Again, we need to relook into that philosophy very keenly, because I can guarantee you, no nation that I know survived on that equation. So I really, really give kudos to the president when he said we need to look deep again into farming. All right. Because that's the only way we are going to bridge half of the things or half of the problems that we think we have.